You're listening to BL in the Air. My name is Chy,
And I'm Alex.
and today we are going to do something a little bit different than normal. Typically we cover like Thai BL series, but today we wanted to talk about a movie. So this is our first movie special. But before we get into it, Alex, what's in the air with you?
Okay, so I'm watching two shows right now that I am obsessed with both of them. Um,
Uh-huh. Both
so
airing?
yes, both are airing. One I think ends this week because I think they do 2 episode releases at a time, and it's the last two. And
Mm-hmm.
it is Happy to the End or
Okay.
Happy to End. Hold on, let me confirm which one it is. It's one of the two. It's it's Japanese. Happy of the End. I knew there was something to it.
Yeah.
And so, if anyone is in our Discord server, you'll have seen me go off about the show because I'm obsessed. Um,
I've seen you guys talk about it, but I'm like, I don't want to
yeah,
spoil it, so I haven't really been reading.
yeah. So it's so dark, and there's so many trigger warnings. There's trigger warnings for like everything, guys. It's there's SA, there's like child like sex exploitation, physical abuse. Like there's a lot of triggering parts to this, but it is so well done.
Mm.
Like there's suicidal like ideation type stuff and whatever. Like it is dark and it is heavy, but it is probably the best Japanese BL I have ever watched.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It is so good. I If you can handle dark and heavy, I highly recommend it. I'm scared that it's not going to end happy, like because it's so dark and heavy and like what the teaser was for the next episode. I'm just like I'm not ready for it to not be happy. I need these poor boys to have like happiness in their life.
I mean,
And
it is happy of the end, so
yeah,
it's
but
gotta end happy, right?
no, because like one of them was like ready to die. So
Oh no.
yeah. And the other one just kind of like, I'm alive. I don't know. Like it's so depressing.
What I love how Japanese BLs are either like really cute and fluffy or they're like super fucked up and there's just no in between for them.
Right? I think this is probably like the most fucked up I've ever seen one. Because I
Okay.
think the end of the world one that I watched was like the next closest, and that was only because it was just complete doom. Um
Yeah.
and which has me a little stressed. I don't know if you saw the news that we're gonna get like a second moon or something. Um
Yeah, I
yeah.
did see that and I was like, I don't know how I feel about it, but it's just
It's only
temporary.
it's only like 2 meters wide, so I'm less stressed
Okay.
now. Like it's super small.
Oh,
Or
okay.
like
So we
20
don't
meters.
really see
No.
it or something? Okay.
No, it's gonna be almost impossible to see. But all
Okay.
I saw was 2 moons, and I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna come in," and all I could think of in the end of the world one I don't remember the name of, you can see, like, the asteroid that's, like, coming, and it looks like another
Oh.
moon, and so I was like, "Oh, no, it's can we go check on that kid that, like, was in the show?"
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd be freaking out.
So but then I saw it was I think it's maybe 20 meters wide, so I was like, "Fine." But
Yeah.
yeah, Happy of the End, highly recommend if you like Japanese BL and if you want something dark, and that will just grip you. The
Okay.
other thing I'm watching is Thai BL that started recently. There's only 2 episodes out, which is my mistake, but I don't care. And it's Jack and Joker from Yin War.
Oh my god, I'm dying to watch this. I just don't know if I can do it at 2 episodes, you know?
With 2 episodes in, I think it's my favorite show of the year.
Oh, what? What?
Right?
That's a bold claim.
I know, right? I'm like, okay, between that and my stand-in, I don't know which one's gonna win in the end for me, but like,
That's
because
crazy.
I
Okay.
I love Ming so much,
Mhm.
but like, Joker has my heart right now.
Okay.
Um,
Damn. Okay. I
yeah.
I really, really wanna watch it. I just, like, don't wanna suffer every week waiting, you know?
It's rough to suffer. So it's a Monday show, so we're getting a new episode
Mm.
tomorrow.
Oh,
Or maybe
okay.
it's Tuesday in time zones, I'm not sure, but I think it's a
Yeah.
Monday show.
Yeah, I
Um,
just if I'm watching something that's airing that I'm really obsessed with, I need, like, multiple things that's airing so, like, I can break up my week and be like, "Oh, my Friday show's out, and now my Monday show's out," like, something like that, you know?
yeah, I mean, that's kinda what I'm doing because I have, like, Monster Next Door and then Jack and Joker and then Happy of the End and, like, all those,
Yeah.
like, Jack and Joker Yin War, this is, like, my first Yin War show. I
Mhm.
the only thing I knew about War is that he does, like, pottery. That's what I knew of him. Um
That's cool.
Yeah, and, like, he's friends with, I think, like, Suho from EXO. Like, he did a thing where he
Oh.
taught him how to do pottery.
Why is Suho all up in the
I
Thai
don't know.
BL men?
I don't know, but I'm here for it.
I love that for
Um,
him.
yeah, but Jack and Joker, so Yin War basically like funded this themselves for the most part, I think, and they this is their plot. This is they want to do something super original and this really feels original to me. Like there's
Hmm,
some like obvious like kind of tropes that are just naturally there, but it doesn't feel like cliche. So
okay.
and the acting is incredible. I wasn't too sure with the first episode. I was a little iffy on like the first, but it grew on me very quickly. I'm very excited. I need it to hold out because even if it isn't my
Yeah.
favorite and it's just my second favorite, I'll be okay with that.
Is it a
Um,
full like 12 episodes?
yes, I believe so. It might be 10. But let me check. It's 12.
Okay.
So and it doesn't end until the end of November. Oh my god.
You got so long to go.
Oh no. I'm so glad October I'm so busy, so I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, no,
Cool.
highly recommend. Just maybe wait till there's more than 2 episodes out.
Yeah,
Because this
that's what
is awful.
I'm gonna like bear it as long as I can before I just like can't wait anymore and then I'll watch
Yeah.
it. But I'm gonna try to give it like 3 more weeks maybe. At least like half of it.
Yeah. My problem was that on Twitter, everyone was freaking out about how good it was. I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, is it really?" I it's been a while since I've seen people just go off this much on a show. 'Cause there's been
Yeah.
some that people were like, "Oh, this is really good," and then I, like, watch it and I'm like, I'm missing something."
Yeah.
Because not that it would be like the other shows were bad, it just they weren't as good as the hype was saying, and that's where I was like, "What is happening?"
Mhm.
But this one is the hype is warranted in my opinion.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, cuz I remember like when it was first announced and stuff and
yeah.
seemed interesting, so
Yeah, people have been really excited about this one for a while, I think.
yeah.
Um, but what about you? What's in the air with you?
Well, for me, okay, allegedly this isn't a BL. But
Okay.
I've been watching Peaceful Property, which is a show that I've been really excited for like a long time. I think they announced it last November during the
Mhm,
GMM TV like first announcement thing. And I was like, this looks right up my alley. It stars Tay, New, and Jan, and I'm like, I love them all.
mhm.
And Mook, who I don't really know that well, but she's the
Mook is
fourth
Mech's
one.
sister.
Oh shit! Okay, oh, I see it
Yeah,
now. Oh
yeah.
my god. Okay. I was gonna say, I was like, I recognize her because she has been in like a couple other things, but
Mhm.
I've never seen her in like a show before.
Yeah, I
That's
haven't
so
either.
funny. I mean, yeah, she's beautiful, so it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I like the show a lot so far. This one's also airing. There's 4 episodes out right now.
mhm,
Um, but it's just so good. It's like it's definitely like a comedy
mhm.
but it's also slightly horror vibes. Like I wouldn't say it's that scary, but it's definitely a bit gory.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, not like people are like, getting stabbed and dying or whatever, but like the ghosts, like the makeup and like effects on them I feel like are actually pretty spooky.
Oh, wow.
Like I think they did a pretty good job with that. So I guess I don't know if you're like queasy about like blood or anything, I don't know. It's nothing too bad, but it for like a comedy show, it's because it's paranormal and like I guess just like comedy. So
Mhm,
I always like that blend and I love Tay and New, like their characters. It's basically Tay's character from Three Will Be Free, so very like nerdy and awkward. And then New's character from The Warp Effect, but like way douchier.
Oh, no.
And I love it together. Cause a lot of the times it's like, I feel like I watch the show and like Tay is like, oh, like a really like upstanding gentleman, whatever, and like
Mhm,
I don't know, I like the reversal kind of there. So um yeah, it's really funny. I love the whole premise of it. And yeah, highly enjoy. It's not a BL, which I think is funny because the GMM TV account, they keep like tweeting screenshots of the show where they're like holding hands and stuff like that. And then eventually New like responded to the GMM TV account and he's like, "You guys report this account. The show is not a BL. Like they're lying." And it's like the
Yeah.
GMM TV official account.
It was so funny. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I get it cuz their chemistry and stuff in it is still great even if they're not smooching. Like it's definitely like if you like them and their vibe together, I think it's still plenty enjoyable.
Yeah, it's definitely one I wanna watch eventually, but I'm gonna see if I can hold off on till it's done.
Yeah. I know I caught up pretty quick on this one. And it's not like it's a pretty casual show, so I'm not like dying for the next episode. Um but it's kind of giving Scooby-Doo, So it's like it's really fun. And I'm just enjoying it a lot so far. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
So,
So that's what I'm watching.
lots of good shows out right now, I think.
I know. Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm constantly just like I started using Tumblr again. I just
Oh
keep
boy.
I know. I just keep getting like gifts of all these random shows and I'm like, add that one to the list.
Yeah, that's what Twitter's been for me, is I follow some of, like, the BL update accounts, and they're all like, "This show's on, like, Q whatever," or, like, "This one's airing next week," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, I
'Cause
know. Like since
'cause we're only
when?
yeah, we're only, like, maybe a month and a half out from the new, like, the Japanese Love in the Air, 'cause that's
Yeah.
November 6th. I'm like, "Give it to me now."
Yeah, I keep getting TikToks of
Um,
the cast of that one.
yeah, and then Simone, who wrote 4 Minutes,
Mhm.
updated her Twitter account today for her new show.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's another doctor show,
Of course. Why
uh,
not? If you're
right? I mean,
if
she's
you're
a
one of the
doctor, so she
only
knows,
people yeah, if you're one of the only directors who know how doctor things work, you might as well just make all the doctor shows.
right? Like, I'm here for it because at least it's gonna be, like, relevant enough.
Yeah.
But it's called Spare Me Your Money, I think is what it was.
Oh,
Spare Me Your Mercy, excuse me, I can't
okay.
read.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think she wrote the novel to this one. I think she's just, like, doing maybe the screenplay or something? I'm not entirely
Okay.
sure.
She's booked and
Um
busy.
Yeah, I was really surprised that she switched that fast because on Friday, everybody from 4 Minutes was, like, tweeting, like, 4 minutes or hashtag 4 minutes flashback.
Mhm.
Um, and so she went from that to, 2 days later being like, "Okay, new show."
Yeah, right.
Um, but yeah, I think this one is something like a detective and a doctor or something like that.
Okay.
Um,
Sick.
yeah. So, I don't know. I'm excited for something else from her because I've enjoyed everything. I haven't finished Manor of Death. I only have 2 episodes left, but I did enjoy that one too. I need to finish it.
Yeah.
Um, And there's so much in queue in production right now because Osan's Love is in production.
Oh my god,
Eh,
I keep seeing pictures from that.
yeah, Heart Killers is still in production.
Yeah. Oh, that's another show I watched. I watched the other Earth Mix show. What
Which
is
one?
it called? Cupid's Last Wish. I watched that one
Oh,
too. But I was like, I think
yeah.
I'm missing something. But yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had too much time to watch stuff, so it's been Jack and Joker and then the Japanese BL is all I've watched this week besides what we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah. Should we
Uh,
get into the movie?
yeah. Um, so the movie we're gonna talk about today is After Sundown, which came out on July 20th of 2023. And it stars ZeeNuNew, um,
Woo.
who you might know from Cutie Pie or as the side character, I guess, in Naughty Babe as well. Um, Cutie Pie was actually my second BL, like Thai BL I ever watched,
Mhm.
and I love ZeeNuNew so much.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not so sure about this movie though.
Yeah, this is the first thing that I've actually seen them in because I haven't watched Cutie Pie yet. But I'm like familiar with the actors and stuff, like just
Yeah.
outside of acting. And yeah, this movie was it was interesting for sure.
Yeah, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't what I expected.
Yeah, I will say we are gonna spoil most of the movie, but honestly, you don't need to watch it. Obviously, okay, if you're a ZeeNuNew fan, yeah, you
Oh,
might as
yeah.
well watch it, but it's not like you're gonna be like missing too much if we spoil a bit.
Yeah, I don't know that I would recommend the movie, but I wouldn't tell you absolutely don't watch this, right? Like,
Yeah,
I had fun watching it, but not in the way that I think was intended.
yeah. Yeah, I said it was entertaining, but I wouldn't say it was like good.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was supposed to be a lot scarier than it was.
Yeah, I can say I probably wasn't scared at all.
I wasn't either, and I went in fully, once I realized it was, like, a suspense after we were like, "Yeah, let's do this movie for an episode," and I was like, "Oh, no, I just agreed to do, like, a suspense horror or something," and I was like, "Oh, what
Oh.
have I done?" And then I was like, "Oh, it's fine."
Yeah, I I would say, I mean, it's definitely like a horror mixed with just like a romance. I don't even wanna call it
Yeah.
a drama, but yeah, very light on the horror for the most part.
Yeah. So, I guess a short summary to get into it would be, so in 1961, Rawi, who is played by Nunu, it gets sent to live in, like, this castle mansion thing owned by Plong, who is Z. I'm having a hard time, guys, with Z's character's name, so I think for this, we're just gonna go by Z and Nunu. Um,
I tried so hard to like listen and like catch the pronunciation, I just could not hear it.
I did too. To me, it sounded like they were saying something completely different from how the character's name is spelled. Like,
Yeah.
I got the spelling from my drama list because sometimes, like, the subtitles will spell things differently.
Mhm.
So I was like, the my drama list, I would hope, is like the closest to accurate, but I still am just like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So Nunu's character gets sent to like live at Z's house, which is like a giant mansion, and it's after he's like 21, and Z's character is like abroad at the time, and he comes back at his parents' request because some sage said that Z needed to find his soulmate. And like during this time, Nunu's character has like a lot of nightmares while he's staying at the castle, but if he's with Z, he doesn't have those nightmares, and like, that's basically it. But, like
Yeah, and then some more stuff
yeah,
happens at the end, but that's the premise.
yeah. So, of course, we have Z and Nunu in the show, and then we have, a few other characters that I don't know that we need to get too much into until they kinda come up in the show.
Yeah.
The one I do wanna point out is Z's grandfather in the show is Ming's dad in My Stand-In.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's why he looked familiar, okay.
yeah. So he was the only other actor I recognized. I don't know any of the other ones.
Yeah, I didn't know them
Um
either. And they're, like, kind of in the movie, but, like, not really impacting that much, so.
No.
We can get to
So,
them when we get to
yeah.
them.
So the movie starts first with Nunu singing, and I skipped right over that, I'm not gonna lie. Um,
Listen to I'm, like, out if anyone's singing in a BL, I hope it's Nunu. You know? Like, better him than anyone else.
yeah, I was not in the mood for singing, so I was just like
That's fair.
like, after, like, 5, 10 seconds where I was like, "Oh, we're gonna go through, like, a whole song here to start the show," and I was like, "Skip, skip, skip, skip."
Yeah, that's normally 9 times out of 10, that's what I'll do.
Yeah. So, and then we go from that to Nunu gets told by this monk guy that he's gotta go live in, like, a different, like, city or state. I don't really know. It's Nakon. I don't know where that is. I didn't look it up on a map, I'm not gonna lie. Um, but he's gotta go live there now that he's 21, and he's gonna go live in this castle, which is owned by excuse me, Z's family. And then the monk gives him, like, an amulet to wear for safety, and, like, there's a guy there who's gonna, like, take him to this castle, which ends up being Z's grandfather, but I don't realize that that's him until the end of the movie.
Yeah, the family I need someone to draw a family tree of this movie. That's my main thing, is just, like, if I understood how people were related, I would probably understand this movie a lot better.
Yeah, I don't know if there is some translation issues in when I was watching it, and that's what confused me on some of it because it'll come up more relevant towards the end. I think on why I was confused on some of it because like some of it made sense and then some of it didn't because like the monk that Rawi that Nunu's character is talking to, I guess is his grandfather, but I
Ye
I think the subtitles I saw when I was watching it was like Reverend Uncle is what he was calling him or something like that, but it was also that's my
Yeah.
grandfather, and like the monk guy was also like my grandchild, like my grandson, and I was like, dude,
Who whose grandson is who?
yeah. So the monk's grandson is Nunu, and
Mhm.
then Ming's dad's grandson is Z.
See, yeah. That's, like, the most I could gather, but yeah.
Yeah. So we see that and we see this amulet, right? And then we cut over to Z's parents are talking with this sage who's like Z needs to find a soulmate for a binding, like a destiny binding for his safety.
Yeah, and his parents are like, "Do they have to get married?" And then he's like,
Yeah.
"Nah, they just need to be bound."
Yeah. And it's the person has to be an odd number age, has to be younger than Z, who in this is 25. And it has to be from someone outside of the Pra Nakhon. Um
Mhm.
so I was like, okay. And so like it's Z's parents and his grandfather are sitting there, I think, for this, or they talk to the grandfather later, and the grandfather's like, I have an idea. Um
Yeah.
so
First of all, they
but
put so much, like, trust into this sage, like,
right?
if someone I mean, I'm not a very spiritual person, I guess, but if someone was like, "You need to do, like, this," like, "Your son needs to get married or whatever by the end of this year, or something horrible is gonna happen," I'd be like, "Yeah, right, dude, whatever."
Yeah. So I will say I think that is a little bit more of a cultural thing and maybe
Yeah.
Buddhist because that happened in another show I was watching where they did like a destiny binding.
Yeah.
I think it was Century of Love is where they did that.
Okay.
Um so it's one of those like since I'd already seen it, that part I was like, "Oh, that's normal." Um
Yeah, yeah. Like, yeah, I
um
get it, I've seen it in shows before too, but, like,
yeah.
just, like, if I was putting myself in their shoes, I'd be like, "Okay."
Oh yeah. No, I'd be like, what?" But
Yeah.
also my question on this, and this is jumping a little further in. So the sage said they needed to do it for Z's safety. There was never a moment in the show where he was in danger.
Yeah, they said it was yeah, either he would end up forever alone or, like and something, like, bad would happen to him, and
Yeah.
literally, like,
And
he's never the one in danger. He's
no.
by doing this, he's putting someone in
Yeah.
danger.
Yeah, no, the danger comes from him dealing with this. Uh,
Yeah. So, honestly, I don't know, kind of a quack.
yeah, that's where I was like, I don't know about all that now.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, maybe he would have been alone forever, but he definitely when it comes to danger in this movie, he was never in any.
no. Um, and so then it's Nuna's first night in this new house. And he has a nightmare about a ghost lady, just randomly. Um,
Mhm.
and we don't this is the first time we see the ghost, and then he wakes up and puts the amulet necklace on. And maybe he should just always wear the amulet. Like that's from my
Mhm.
experience with these shows with the amulets, because The Sign with Billy and Babe, they also had an
Mhm.
amulet thing, and it's like you the amulet only works if you're wearing it, so you have to always wear it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like that
I have a necklace I always wear, like and it doesn't even, like, protect me, you know? If
yeah.
you might as well wear the necklace that's gonna stop this ghost from eating you.
Like, especially, like, if my first night in this house, I'm having a ghost nightmare, I am absolutely just gonna always wear this amulet, but, like, no. He's just like, "No, I'm just whatever."
Yeah. Also,
Nunu,
this
please.
house is beautiful. It's
It
so
is.
nice.
I love it, it's so pretty.
Yeah, I will say this movie is very, like, aesthetically pleasing to watch because just the house and the setting and all that are so beautiful.
Mhm. Thailand's really pretty.
It
It's one of those
is.
I think before I got into Thai BLs, I really didn't know much about what, like, Thailand looked like,
Mhm.
um, but, like, having seen it, like, from different aspects, I think from different shows, and then just, like, looking into Thailand after that, Thailand's so pretty.
Yeah, it's yeah, everything I see from it is just, yeah, gorgeous.
So so we have nightmare time, and then Z's family, and I love my note here because this is where I had no idea who anyone was. So
Yeah.
it's Z's family and like Nunu's new guardian realize that Nunu meets the requirements to do the binding with Z, and it's literally just Z's family. Like that's all
Yeah.
this it's all the same because it's his parents and his grandfather are like, wait a second, Nunu meets these requirements. But it was really
Yeah.
funny because they're like sitting around talking about it and they're like, do we care that they're both men? And then they were all like, nah, it's fine.
Ah, I know, I, like, love this, honestly, like,
Yeah.
they're just so chill about it.
Yeah. And they were
Like, I
like,
thought
so
that might have been the issue because it takes place in, like, the 1960s, but
yeah.
they don't give a fuck.
No, it was so funny. I like that they at least pointed out that they were like, it's men, whatever. Um,
Yeah.
um, so, but yeah, and they're like, okay, we don't care that it's both men, but now we're gonna have to convince both of them that this is the way to go. Um,
Mhm.
and uh, and so that's where that goes. There's a lot of like jumping around here. I feel like in some of these scenes.
Yeah.
Because then the house staff, I don't know if they're just like paid staff or if they're servants or like what the
Yeah.
deal is. I can't tell, and I don't know enough about Thailand to like know. I assume it's just paid staff. Um, but like some of them are cooking, and Nunu wants to like help, but they tell him to just go sit inside and like in the dining room or whatever, and until they. But then they're like, oh wait, we need somebody to go buy garlic. Can you go do that? Um, And then there's this one staff member, he's like a kid, like, around the same age as, like, Nunu, I guess, somewhere around there, and he just immediately hates Nunu, and
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no reason given, and honestly, there's no reason given the entire show, the entire
And it
movie.
there's kind of a reason.
Yeah, I mean, they kinda hint at it, but, like, the
Yeah.
nothing happens, like,
No,
it's
they never, like, dive into it, you know?
there's no reason to have, like, this subplot that's happening that's not
No.
relevant to anything.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, if I had to okay, one critique for this movie. So, what we're explaining right now is the uncut version, and then there's the cut version, so it's shorter. And they cut away some scenes I feel like they should have kept, and instead they should have just cut this guy's entire role. Like,
yeah,
this the subplot with him and then, like, another guy later, I'm just like, you coulda taken that out of the movie, it would have been the same movie. Like, maybe
yeah,
kept in some more of the ZeeNuNew scenes, but
mhm.
yeah, he's just like a dick immediately to
Right?
Nunu. We're like, "Okay."
Even, like, the older lady that's in the kitchen is like, "You can't talk to him like that." Um,
Yeah.
and I don't really understand what Nunu's role in this house is because, like,
Yeah.
he's always helping in the kitchen and, like, doing stuff, and there's, like, one point where he talks about how he eats in the kitchen with, like, the staff and not, like, with the family. So, but I don't think he's actually considered staff. Like, I think he's just another, like, live-in member of the household now. So, I don't
What
know if it's just
Yeah, what it was his upbringing? Like,
so
he
I
grew
think he
up,
was
like, with the monk.
orphaned. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is usually when you're, like, an orphan, from what I've seen from, like, the other shows like that, is, like, there's some sort of orphan thing or, like, if your family can't, like, pay for it or some, like, spiritual aspect to that, but because there's been, I guess, a few different reasons, but the main thing I've seen is something like either, like, the parents can't take care of you for some reason or you don't have parents. Um,
But it's, like, insinuated okay, now I'm rethinking things. 'Cause
Oh,
it is later insinuated that he is, like, the descendant of another character, and maybe it wasn't the monk, maybe the guy was just the guy
yeah.
he was is just dead or something, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's honestly have no idea.
I don't either.
But so,
We
like
can unpack that later, I guess, but yeah.
yeah. But, like, with that, like, so he goes from, like, living, like, with this monk guy, who may or may not be his grandfather, I don't know.
But
Um,
his parents were his parents were friends with the this family who owns the big house or, you know.
I thought it was the monk was friends with the
So, I'm wondering if it was it the monk? I
I
don't
thought it
know,
was the monk
dude.
because the monk was like, "You're gonna go stay with my friend,"
Yeah, that's true,
right?
okay.
So, I think it's the monk was friends with this family, and that's why.
Okay.
But that's I don't know, like, status-wise where he falls in. I feel like he's in this weird limbo area. 'Cause they were
Yeah.
also talking at one point about, like, have you decided what you wanted to study? So I don't know if he's gonna, like, further his education now that he's, like, in a city instead of, like, I don't know, he's kinda in the jungle almost. And they're
Yeah.
still not not in, like, a big city, I guess, but or maybe they were. Maybe they mentioned they were in Bangkok. I don't
I
remember
think
anymore.
they're
Or
yeah. I don't know
wait.
where Nunu's from, but,
Yeah,
Z's family is in Bangkok.
yeah, this Prawn Nakhon is
Yeah.
of Bangkok. Okay. So, we know that much.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I don't know exactly where he, falls in, but, is what it is at this point. Um,
Mhm.
so, um, so we have that where the staff is like, "Okay, go buy some garlic, please, for us," because the really bitchy, like, guy is just like, "I'm not gonna go do it. I'm busy cooking for Z." Um,
Yeah. He's gotta make his, like, pudding or whatever.
yeah, something like that. And so Nunu gets on this bicycle and he's just kind of lottie-dying like down the road. Um and he like comes out of like a doorway kind of to like go out and ends up in front of a car and it happens to be the car that is driving Z home. So
Mhm.
the Z nearly runs him over basically. Um and he of course
Yeah.
this is the first of many times that Nunu will get hurt in which he falls off the bike.
And then okay, Nunu's so mad at the car for hitting him, but I was like, "Bro, that's kinda your fault."
Right? Like, it was just unfortunate timing more than anything, but it like, he's like, "You shouldn't go so fast," but honestly, that car was not going fast.
No, and the car was going, like, straight, but
Yeah, and he came
okay,
out of, like, a
bikes
doorway.
yeah, bikes follow the same rules that cars do, and he came out of, like, an alley or something, like, and,
Yeah,
onto oncoming traffic, and I was like, traffic
yeah,
laws, this would be your fault, but it's fine, whatever."
yeah, and it's just funny because he, like, just the car doesn't even hit him, and he still just falls off the bike. Um,
Yeah.
and the driver gets out. I love the driver. So the driver is the same guy, like, throughout the whole show. I don't remember his name. It's Cry Pop?
Yeah.
I love him. He's actually like for being a not very relevant character too much, I still love him. And he's like
Yeah.
super concerned and like worried that like Nunu's hurt. Nunu is like playing up how hurt he is. He's like, "Yeah, it hurts so much. It's like fine though. It's just a scrape." Whatever. And I'm like, "Okay." And then Z gets out of the car and he's like, "You're delaying me. Let me go." And he's like so mean. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, we're getting mean Nunu or mean Z." And I was like,
Ye
"What?" And that's like the only time in the whole show that he's like really mean besides maybe one other moment. Um
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay." Um,
Which and
so
honestly, I get it. This man, kinda
yeah,
his fault.
yeah. There's the holding up. He's trying to get home. He's been traveling for a while. I don't know where he was abroad, but he's been abroad for a while.
Mhm.
But so they have that run in, and so now they immediately don't like each other. So Z and Nunu do not like each other now.
Of
Um,
course.
right? So Z goes home, and we have the random ghost in the background. Um,
Mhm.
like he's walking through the house, and there's just a ghost there that nobody else sees.
Yeah, don't forget
Um,
about her.
Right? Yeah, she just randomly appears a lot, but doesn't do anything. Um, and so Z's family like sits him down and tells him about this prediction from the sage that he's going to have misfortune, and that he's got to do this binding, and that he should do the binding with the grandson of his grandfather's friend. Um,
Mhm.
and Z's like kind of what you said. He's like, I don't believe in this, but he's like, fine, I'll do it anyway if it makes you guys feel better. Which being a good son, I guess.
Mhm.
And he's like, "I'm only home for 6 months," because his dad asked him to come home to help with some work stuff, and then he's like, "Then I'm leaving again." So, um and then we get another creepy ghost shot.
Yep, don't forget about her,
Yeah.
in case you
Um,
forgot.
so Z's doesn't know who he's gonna have his binding with, but he's like, "Fine, it's, whatever." And then Z's grandfather again, who is the guy who, like, took him in, um, sits down and or starts to tell, Nunu about this destiny thing, and he's like, "Will you do this binding for us?" Whatever, and he's, like, hesitating, and he's about to answer, and, like, Z walks in and goes, "Is this who you want me to bind with?"
Mhm.
And, like, he basically just, like, grabs him and, like, runs off with him and is like, "We need to talk privately," and his grandfather's like, "You should get to know each other." And the way he says it, it sounds so much like you guys are just get together. Like, just go be a
Yeah.
couple is, like, how it sounds. And so Z just drags Nunu off into, like, a room so he can, like, go, talk to him, and this is where I'm like, "Okay, here's our bingo square check mark of grabbing
I
him by the wrist."
That's literally I did make a bingo thing, even though it's a movie, so some of the squares don't apply, but I saw this and I was like, "Check, wrist grab."
Yep. Yeah, I had the same thought, it was so funny. I was like,
Yeah. 'Cause that's when you're like, I'm pretty sure, like, almost every show has it, but it's sometimes I forget, like, exactly when.
yeah, this one stood out very like, it
Mhm.
was very dramatic.
Oh, yeah, it's, like, into the
Um
other room, you know?
Yeah. And Z so they're in this room now, and Z's like, "I don't wanna do the destiny binding with you." And he's like, "You're just in it for money." And he's like, "How much do you want to basically go away?" Um, Nunu
You
was
invited me here.
right? Nunu was so sassy with this. He was sassy as fuck. Cause he just says he's not in it for the money, and he's like, if he was, he should have gone for the grandfather because he's got all the money anyway. And Z is just so taken aback.
I love that response.
And Nunu was like, "I wasn't gonna do the binding. I was gonna say no, but now I'm going to do it." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "How does what?
I
What logic? I don't I don't understand."
uh, I don't either.
Like,
It doesn't make sense. That's why.
no. It's you don't like this guy. He doesn't like you. He just accused you of being a gold digger.
Mhm.
And that's what makes you want to do this destiny binding?
Just, like, out of spite, but then now you have to deal with him.
Right? And it's like, okay. And like it's one of those it's like because like Z hates him so much already, like immediately, like but I'm like, oh okay. I don't understand your logic, dude. I want to be out of here.
Yeah, right.
Um
Hey, we gotta just a movie, we gotta get through it somehow, you know?
I guess.
Yeah, logically, I'm don't really see how it makes
No.
sense, but,
No, there's a lot of logic issues in the show.
yeah, just kinda like, just go with it, you know?
Right. Like I we're talking a lot of shit, but I thoroughly enjoyed watching this. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
yeah.
Um and then so Nunu then has another dream about the creepy ghost lady. Um, and he wakes up and puts the amulet on again, which means he's again not wearing this amulet. He really, really needs to wear this all the time, or it is useless.
Yeah, like, just even while you're sleeping, you know?
Right?
Like,
Just never take it off. Especially like
yeah,
if the predominant time that you're dealing with these creepy ass dreams is when you're asleep, like come on, bro. Like
yeah.
so he wakes up, he puts the amulet on, and then we see that the creepy ghost lady is hanging out in the background of his room. So, you know.
Mhm.
She's just lurking everywhere. It kinda reminds me of from 1,000 Years Old where the the ghost is just kinda hanging out.
Yeah, oh my god. I love that ghost, though. That ghost is iconic.
Yeah. So, at one point, Z's family starts actually getting onto him for, like, being mean to Nunu, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, we found an auspicious date for, the Destiny binding, so that's gonna happen soon." Um, and I at this point, I actually thought the plot was gonna be, like, the lead up of to, like, this Destiny binding and that it was gonna be, like, far away.
Yeah.
But, like, it was, like, days later because
Yeah,
there's,
it's very quick.
like, 2 scenes later, all of a sudden they're doing a Destiny binding, and I was like, "Wait a second." I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, okay." Um, but in the meantime, they're like since they found the date for the Destiny binding, they're like, "Z, you should go and help, Nunu find some new clothes because all he has is, like, his old clothes and, we gotta look nice for this Destiny binding." And so Z takes Nunu to, like, this tailor to go get, like, fitted for clothes, and honestly, the scene was way cuter than it needed to be for the fact that they hate each other. Um, you can see that Z is already soft,
I
and, like
don't know if I don't remember the scene because I just don't remember, or if
it was
this was cut from
oh, that I
the
don't know
version. Because that's
because
I do wish, like, because a lot I feel like a lot of the scenes where they're, like, kinda getting to, like, warming up to each other, I feel like those were cut from the cut version,
oh,
and I was like so for me, when I was watching it, because I just watched the regular version, they just went from, like, hating each other to, like, kissing like really fast. And I was like, okay, what happened in between?
Okay, so what happened in this scene is they're at the tailor and this lady is like measuring Nunu and he doesn't know how to have his measurements taken, right? So it's arms up and arms down and whatever. She's not really giving him any guidance either. She's like, I'm gonna measure your arm now. I'm gonna measure your chest now. I'm gonna whatever. And like he's just standing in the background just like watching. And then he finally, like, there's one point where he's like, "I'll help," and he, like, walks in and he's, like, raises his arm, so he's, like, standing behind him,
Mm,
holding his arms up while she's, like, measuring from the front, and he's, like,
uh,
explaining, like, that, "Yeah, you have to, hold your arms up for this measurement, whatever." And it's, like it's not, like, overly, like, cute, but it was one of those I'm like, "This is giving me cute butterflies," like, meet cute t not meet cute, but, like, just, like, happy emotions when, like, there's no
mhm.
reason for that because Z's supposed to still hate Nunu. Like,
Okay,
I
yeah, they
why
they definitely cut that from the movie, so
okay. Yeah, it was a really quick scene, and honestly, it brought nothing to it because, like, because the next scene after that is the binding ceremony.
oh,
Um,
okay.
so right, so and I'm, guessing that that's the clothes that they did the fitting for, but you never really see the clothes, it's you see the fitting and then all of a sudden binding ceremony. Um,
Yeah.
so it would make sense to cut that because it's one of those but it's also did they not even talk about that at the dinner then? 'Cause that's where, um, like they were talking to, like, like, Z that he needs to be nicer and he should go, like, get clothes for him, and that was, like, him getting clothes for him after that.
Yeah, all I remember is the part where they're like, "Oh, we found an auspicious date and time,"
Oh,
or something. Yeah, I think I don't know,
oh, they probably cut the whole thing out then.
yeah, probably. I literally watched this morning, and I don't even remember what happens, so
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but that's all I remember.
yeah, so clearly 2 different experiences happening right now,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is fine. Um, so then the binding ceremony happens, and it's a if you've seen a show with a binding ceremony, it's a pretty standard one of, like, they have, like, the red strings that they tie on them and, like, say some words.
yeah.
But I think it's the sage that was the one who did it, and then he gives a prediction saying that they needed to stay under the same house at sunset, which I thought just meant they needed to live in the same house, but that means they need to share a bedroom, apparently.
Yeah.
I did not interpret that way.
No, it could have been a translation or something, but
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, because they go then immediately to sleeping in a bed together.
Yeah, because Z's laying in bed, and Z just, like, walks in and, like, throws his pillow down on the bed, and Z's like or excuse me, Nunu walks in and throws his pillow down, and Z's just like, "You don't go to your own room, it's fine." And then they just argue for a while, like but it's such, like, a monotone argument, like, it's not like anybody's actually, like, really angry, they're just like, "Ugh, existence."
Yeah.
And then Z's like, "Okay, here, we're gonna make a plan. We're gonna spend as little time as possible together, and we're gonna behave in front of the adults, and then we're only doing this for 6 months, and then I'm leaving anyway." And the fact that he's, like, in front of the adults, and I'm like, "You guys are both adults." But, like, I get it, it's the adultier adults, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right?
I'm
And
also wondering too, I'm like, okay, if he does it for 6 months, is he, like, set for life then, or is he
I I think his plan is that he doesn't buy into any of this, and he's just humoring his parents to make them
Yeah,
feel better, and then he's gonna go off and go live his life again is his plan.
yeah,
Um, and he's like, "I don't care what else happens." Um, so then they eventually go to sleep after they're fighting.
yeah,
And so the next morning, that's Z and his parents and I guess his grandfather are all like sitting at the dinner table, like eating breakfast. And that's where like Nunu is like in there and he's like helping serve the food. And then like the grandfather's like, "You should eat with us for breakfast." And Nunu's like, "I'll go eat with the staff like I always do. That's how it should be." And they're like, "You're part of the family now." Like, no. Um and I was like, "Okay." That's where I was, like, confused on, like, what his status was, because like, I didn't think he was, like, staff. Like, I thought he was just going to
y
help in the kitchen because he was
yeah,
bored.
me too, because I thought he was, like, a guest, you know?
Yeah, but, like, the fact that he's not been eating with the family this entire time is what's thrown me a little bit, unless he just
I wonder
doesn't
if,
feel
like
comfortable.
yeah, I didn't know maybe he wasn't eating with the family because he knew that, like, Z didn't like him, and so he didn't wanna, make it more awkward or something, I guess, but I feel like he didn't have to eat with the staff, he, like, chose to.
Yeah, so that would make sense. It would fit with his character too. So
Yeah.
But so Z, was this scene in your cut of this?
No.
Oh god,
They
okay.
cut out every part of them, like, being nice,
Oh
like
my
or,
gosh.
like, getting closer, I swear.
That's so funny, cause Z finally, or excuse me, Nunu finally sits down next to Z, right? And so going back to Z being like, "We have to be on our best behavior in front of the adults." So Z is, like, really playing it up on, like, being on his best behavior because, like, he, like, takes food from, like, the communal, like, stuff on the on the table and is, like, giving it, like, "Here, you should eat this," to, like, Nunu, and being, like, super, like, respectful and thoughtful and stuff, and I'm like, "This is" oh.
Yeah.
And,
Y yeah, I don't know why they cut out, like once again, why did they cut out these scenes and not the random ass ones with, like, that one guy? Like, the staff guys.
yeah,
Like,
the
okay.
angry staff guy, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, not sure
Um,
on the decision there, but okay.
yeah, 'cause they should this is all the relationship building, like, this is what's leading up to
Yeah,
a lot of it.
that's why yeah, for me, it was, like, so sudden. I was like, "Okay, like, why do you guys even like each other now?"
Like, it was still a little sudden for me, because even, like, with the Taylor, where I was like, "Why are you already soft?" Like, you literally, like, an hour ago were, like, mean mugging him.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, right. He
and,
just can't hold a grudge or something.
yeah, I mean, it's one of those where I'm like, "Okay, this scene is Z and Nunu and not their character."
Yeah.
It's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Um, so while they're eating breakfast, Z's grandfather is like, "You should go take Nunu on a trip since they've done the binding ceremony." And I'm like, "What? Okay, random beach trip coming in?" But that's
Mhm.
not what it is. Um,
I wish.
and so I was, everyone's acting like this is a marriage and not just a destiny binding, and it's cracking me up.
Yeah. I know.
Um,
It's they coulda just gotten married anyway at this point.
yeah. So then Z and Nunu go like Z takes Nunu on a drive. So when Z came home, he had a driver driving him around, and most of the time, I feel like they had a driver, but for like this moment, it was just Z and Nunu. Um, and I guess this is their trip because this is the only trip I see them take really at this point. It was
Mhm.
just a drive around town, I guess. And like on the way home on their drive, Z makes like a pit stop to go buy some snack food for Nunu, and he doesn't tell him anything till he gets back in the car with the thing and hands it to him and goes, "Here, you should eat this while we drive home." And Nunu's just like grinning and happy with food. I don't know.
Aw.
And I'm just like, why is Z already this soft for Nunu? What happened?
Yeah, nothing I don't know. Nothing happened, but
No.
he's just whipped, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of those where I'm like, I guess what happened is that he just resigned himself to the fact that this is what he's got to deal with for now, so might as well make it painless, but also like Nunu's kind of adorable. Um
Yeah.
so then they come home and the driver dude is like, "Oh, I'll take the car back." And like Z just walks off in the house and leaves Nunu behind. Um
Okay.
right? And like Nunu's like trying to get all like the stuff. I guess they went and did a bunch of shopping or something cuz Nunu's got like a ton of bags and stuff, and he's like walking with these bags, and like the the staff member that, like, hates him is, like, watching, like, a window from, like, the side. He's, like, watching everything happen, right?
Mhm.
But he's off to the side. He's not, like, over the walkway that they're walking under. But, Nunu's, like, walking to go into the house, and, like, this flower pot comes out of nowhere and slams, like, down right in front of him, and it startles Nunu, so he falls back.
This is giving me such, The Eclipse flashbacks.
Yeah, my first thought was actually Boys Over Flowers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, where they,
New bingo square, maybe?
the flower pot?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Nunu again hurt because he falls backwards and I guess like sprains his ankle somehow or something. And so the driver like comes running over and is like, "Are you okay?" Whatever. And Z comes back out of nowhere and is like, "Are you hurt?" And is like hyper focused on like taking care of him. And Nunu's like, "Yes, I'm hurt. I can't my leg, whatever, super dramatic." I'm like, "You felt like the flower pot didn't hit him. He just fell backwards."
Yeah. He's
And
just his skin is made of paper and his bones are made of glass.
apparently, because of the amount of times I've fallen the way he did, and I just get up and walk like nothing happened,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "I'm in my 30s, dude." Like,
Yeah. It's honestly impressive how many times he hurts himself.
it really is. It's cracking me up. We never get an explanation about the flower pot either. So, I mean, I think it's
No,
a ghost, but
yeah, I assume it's the ghost too, but because it's
yeah.
definitely it's not the other only other person would be the one staff guy that hates him, but he's
Yeah.
like there when it happens, so it couldn't have been him.
Yeah, cause so Z, like, carries off Nunu bridal style to go, like, take care of his new injury of his leg.
Yeah.
Um, and that's where the driver, like, looks up and sees the guy, the angry staff member, and is like, "You didn't do this, did you?" And he's like, "I've been standing here the whole time." No. Like
Like
he's
no
off to the
shit.
side. Yeah. And then we pan and we get to see the ghost lady in the window again.
Wow.
So that's where I assume it was her that did it, but I just
Yeah.
it's how, what, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess she can interact with physical things now.
Yeah, that's a new one for us.
Yeah, she's
Um,
evolving.
yeah. So then we I don't know, I feel like there's a scene that was cut or something because like we don't see them do anything about the injury. We don't know how bad this injury actually is or anything. Because the next thing I see is like Nuna's just walking through an empty part of the house.
Yeah,
Like in
he's
the
he's recovered real fast.
But the thing is he hasn't. He's like so he partially has, I think, because he's walking kind of fine until he like thinks about it and then he's not walking fine anymore. It's kind of what happens for a while here.
He's faking it.
He is, but he's
Oh my
not. He's not
god.
faking it, but it feels like he is to be honest.
Yeah.
Um but he's like walking through this empty part of the house and like there's like a shot of like some chandeliers swinging a little bit, which is dramatic for no reason. I'll
Mm.
say the music for this, like, this whole show has been or this whole movie has been so dramatic.
Yeah, I agree.
So and so Nunu's walking around in, like, this mostly dark part of the house or complete I don't know if it was completely dark. And you see the ghost, and the ghost is, like, this weird, really creepy, like, mouth thing going on.
Yeah,
Did you
is this
see
when
this?
you get is this like the part where you see like it's like up just her face mostly?
Yeah, and it's like her
Yeah.
mouth is, like, open really wide, and it's just, like, black hole, and she's, like, kinda screaming, and she comes towards, like, Nunu, like,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
and it's really creepy, but also kind of goofy because it's, like, low budget CGI.
I know.
Um,
Yeah, I would say I mean, this is probably one of the scarier parts of the movie, but it's just like it's hard to take seriously, you know?
yeah, like, it's supposed to be scary, but I'm also like, Bro,
I'm like,
what are
"Girl,
you do" Yeah,
get a hobby."
yeah, and so Nunu nearly falls again in fear from this, but Z comes out of nowhere and catches him, and I was like, "So this is like our trip and dip, isn't it?
Yeah,
Our square?"
count it.
Yeah. And like Nunu is like scared shitless at this point. He's like, what the fuck? And Z's just like looking around like, huh?
Yeah,
I don't see anything.
Nunu knows nothing this whole movie, or no, Z knows
Z,
nothing this whole
yeah.
movie.
Z has no idea what's going on ever. He just
Mm-mm.
knows that his like destiny partner is just constantly scared shitless. Um,
Yeah.
and so like in his like panic that he's having, Nunu's like, take me back to our room, please. And so they walk back off, and then they're in the room, and Z's like checking on Nunu's scar or injuries, and he sees like what is like a birthmark type of a thing, I guess, and a scar on the bottom of Nunu's foot,
Mm.
right? And he asks about him, and Nunu's like, "Yeah, I've had this for a really long time, whatever." And Z gets up and he goes and pulls like this necklace out of a drawer, and he goes, "Do you recognize this?" And Z's like or Nunu's like, Why do you have that?" And then we have our childhood flashback, which is our next bingo square.
Yep. Oh, like clockwork.
Yeah, so, of course, per the cliches, Z and Nunu met briefly as children, where Nunu was being bullied by some kids because of the weird birthmark thing on the bottom of his foot, I guess.
Okay,
And
what
they
kid cares about having another kid has a birthmark on the bottom of their foot?
I have no idea. I
Is
really
that
don't.
something kids get bullied for? Like, I feel like that's just like a place like no one's gonna look, and also
Right?
no one's gonna care.
And it's not like a normal, like, birthmark, I would say, like, it's not just, like, a darker spot or something, like, it's like, it looks different. I forget the word they actually used for it, but it was something I wasn't I was unfamiliar with. But still, it's one of those, like, on the bottom of the foot, and I'm like, there's a lot easier ways to, like, bully people than some random thing on the bottom of your foot, but
Like, how'd they
they
even see it? Mostly kids' feet are always just dirty anyway, so
yeah, and I feel like if you're living in, like, kind of a jungly part of, like, Thailand, like, as kids, you're gonna be barefoot a lot, and you're gonna get dirty from that too. It's gonna be more common almost.
yeah.
Um, but in this, the bullies had like taken Nunu's shoes, and so somehow he ended up walking on glass, and so he cut his foot open, like the back of his sock is like soaked in blood.
Is this the 3rd time he's hurt himself?
So we
'Cause we
had
had the
the
bike, the flower
yeah.
pot, and now this.
Do we count the fall he had? The when the ghost scared him that led to this?
Okay, yeah, we'll go do 4, so we'll keep a
Yeah.
running tally.
Yeah, so now this is the flashback to he's cut on the bottom of his foot. And so for some reason, like Z's character is like visiting or something in the area with his family. And so he sees them and he's like, what happened? And he like helps I think clean up the wound and they hang out a little bit and like Z I guess teaches them to stand up to bullies in like the like 2 hours that they hang out. Um and then when Z's gotta leave, he's like saying goodbye or whatever, and Nunu takes off his necklace and gives it to him and is like, "Here, take this." And Z's like, "This is gonna be a contract between us that you shouldn't let anyone bully you anymore, and hopefully we'll get to see each other again one day." Um,
Like, sure.
yeah. Um, so then we're back from the flashback to now, and that's where Z and Nunu realize that they met as children. Um, and and they're all super cute about this because I guess both of them never got over this. So now they're adorable and everything's happy, and any hard feelings they've had for the last few days over anything is completely gone. And Z is now in love with Nunu,
That's all it takes.
apparently. Um,
Ladies, if you don't know or ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know your partner as a child, I'm sorry, it's just never gonna work out.
I just thinking of the guys that I knew as kids, I don't want to date any of them.
No, and I wouldn't even remember any of them. Like, I'm sure there are plenty kids I met at a park just for like one day.
Yeah,
I would never remember them.
no. I had there's this one guy when I was living in Texas. My mom was like in Yahoo chat rooms with his parents or something like that. I don't know. That was what you did in the 90s, right?
Uh,
And and they were local and somehow we all started hanging out and I would go over to his house all the time. His name was Danny
oh,
and
Danny.
I was in love with Danny, let me tell you. I was
Mhm.
so in love with Danny. I would chase him around the house trying to kiss him as like a 5-year-old. Um
Oh my god.
yeah, and we moved away and we went back and visit like a year after we moved away and I was still just in love with him. And I was like, this is destiny. This is meant to be. And my mom can't remember his parents' name, and I don't know his last name, so I've never been able to find him since, but I've
Oh
tried.
no.
I just like
Danny.
Googled like Danny and like his hometown, like just trying to find anything, and I'm like, I have nothing. I have nothing to go off of.
Oh
I
no.
I just have photos of us.
Well, this is how it's gonna happen for you. You're gonna meet again one day randomly, and it'll be happily ever after.
Right? It's gonna be one of those where I just like happen to have the photo out for some reason because I don't even have the photos here with me. They're in my childhood bedroom. Um, but yeah. So Danny, wherever you are,
If you're
clock's
listening, Danny.
ticking. Yeah, clock's ticking. Can we get on with this? I'm tired of being single.
Yeah. It's meant to be. You met as children.
Right? That would be some wild stuff. I don't know if I would be down for that. I'd be like, this is a little weird.
That would
Um,
be wild, but hey, I mean,
for the plot, I would do it for the plot.
yeah, exactly.
And then I would sell the plot to GMM TV.
Yeah, oh my god. Honestly, yeah, do it. And I would watch the series for sure.
I would too. We could turn it into BL. That's fine. It wouldn't
Yeah,
be that hard.
that would be crazy. We go from just like BL podcasters to script writers.
Yeah. Can I make a cameo in it? And then who
Yeah.
would I want to star in it? Who would be a good fit?
Ooh.
Hmm.
Is this gonna be a BL?
Yes.
Okay. So who'd play you?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, who would
Yeah.
I don't know who I'd want to do it, because I mean, is playing me, I don't even care, but Jimmy C comes to mind as a good fit, I think.
Oh.
I think that'd be a fun one.
Would Jimmy play you?
Maybe.
I could see it.
'Cause so I have always been the nerd, and Danny was a
Mm.
baseball player, I remember that, but he was also, like, 8, so
Yeah. That's just what all 8-year-old boys do.
right? So
Well,
that would be my vote, would be Jimmy C. I'd be down for that, for them to play
yeah.
my love story, childhood to whatever,
You and Danny, but gay version.
and then if we did a GL instead, it would have to be Namtan.
Ugh, I agree, but not she's not me. She's my love interest. Actually, I'm casting myself and her.
Yeah, so anyway.
Anyway, one day.
So, yeah. So, now they're happy to, like, share a bed because that's what they do still. And so Nunu gets up the next morning and he, like, hobbles across the room and he goes and gets, like, Z's work clothes ready for him. And Z's, like, in bed and Z gets up and is like, what are you doing?" And Nunu's like, "I just wanna take care of you and whatever." And Z's like, "You can't even take care of yourself right now. Why don't you heal and then you can worry about me?"
Fair enough.
Yeah, and so Z goes off to work and Nunu just gets to spend his days healing and waiting on Z every day.
'Tis the dream.
Yeah. And so they do that and like there's like a whole like montage type thing of like Z going to work and whatever. And Nunu just
What
sitting
does
around
Z
reading.
do for work?
I don't so all the scenes I see of him doing work is him at like a dinner table schmoozing with some business people about some sales of like some jewelry or something.
Of course, he's a salesman.
Yeah, it's I don't know if, like, his family owns, like, a jewelry type thing, if that's what it is, but
Could
he's, like,
be.
make yeah, so he's, like, making deals, and it's, like, dinner deals, basically, so he's always out eating dinner, it's every time I see him at work, he's sitting at the same table at the same restaurant. That's him working,
Okay.
and so that's what we have for that, and Nunu just gets to sit at home and heal because apparently that fall from falling from the flower pot did a number on his leg. If you say so.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, so then Nunu's healed finally, and he decides he wants to go help in the kitchen.
Mm.
And and Putsun is the guy who's like been really rude to him this entire time, is once again really rude to him. And he's like, I just want to help make a dish for Z. And he's like, I'm making this dish for Z. Like you back the fuck off, basically.
Mhm.
And
It's
like the
my
lady
pudding.
yeah. It's so weird. Like there's clearly like he's interested in Z is what this is, but like the outside of him just being an asshole, nothing comes of this. Like this isn't a
No.
plot point. It's just him
I
being
don't
an
even
asshole to Nunu.
I don't even think they talk once.
No, they don't. Well, no, they do. They
Z
talk
and
once. They talk
okay.
once. But
Okay.
yeah. Um and I just
Get over it.
yeah. So like the lady that's like in charge of the kitchen, I guess. She tells Putsun to like go work elsewhere basically. Like this is ridiculous. And it's like we're going to let Nunu make this dish cuz it's some dessert thing that is Z's favorite. And um so then Nunu gets to make this dessert thing. It's some like peach dish thing. I don't know what it is. It looked really good though.
Yeah. Yeah, the subtitles called it, like, something pudding for me, but it doesn't look like
Yeah.
pudding, it's just, like,
No.
fruit.
Yeah. And so Nunu basically makes like 3 different portions of it. So he makes like one big portion that's for everybody. And then he makes like a smaller serving separate for Z in case he wants extra, and then another one for the grandfather to have now as a snack. And so he
Aw.
goes and takes this bowl over to the grandfather and see how he likes it. And he says it's really good and they're talking and whatever. And a really strong wind somehow knocks this giant, like this heavy looking glass bowl off of the table and it shatters on the ground.
I've never seen a
And
wind that strong before.
no, it's definitely like the ghost doing, right? And it's the ghost pushed it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay.
Although I will say, one time I was like outside at a restaurant, like I was eating outside. The weather was really shit, but it was something where it's like you can eat inside and it'll be an hour wait, or you can just get like a table outside in like the really windy weather. And I was like, I'll just sit outside, I don't care. And we were sitting out there and like a strong wind came and it like across the street there was like a balcony and like the glass table on the balcony flew off the balcony and smashed into the car that was parked below it.
Oh my
And
gosh.
oh my, yeah, it was so bad. And the rest of like my meal, we were just sitting there being like, oh god, like that poor family's gonna come back like from their dinner and their car is just gonna have like damage on it or something from this table. Just
Yeah,
like,
wow.
yeah. So I guess I have seen wind do crazy things before, but this
Yeah.
was this was looks like a pretty nice day out, and this is a glass bowl with like a bunch of food in it. Like just watching it get blown off the table is so funny.
Yeah, it was something. Cause
Hmm.
I mean, growing up with hurricanes, I've seen like wind do a lot too, but like not a normal, just sunny, breezy day.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was probably the ghost, but she wasn't no one saw her, so I don't know. It's
Yeah.
always confused about like when people can and can't see this ghost.
Yeah. I don't think anyone can really see the ghost except like the one time that like Nunu sees her in like the dark where he fell. Um,
Yeah, and then at the end everyone will see her,
yeah.
but yeah, because she's invisible until then.
Hmm. So the grandfather first goes to pick up all the glass, and Nunu's like, no, 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 I got it, right? Which I saw this coming a mile away. As soon as I saw the glass fly, I was like,
Mm,
okay. And so Nunu goes to pick up the glass, but he's incompetent. Sorry, Nunu. And he cuts his finger pretty deeply, honestly, with how much
oh
blood
my
there was.
god. Yeah.
So this is now the fifth time in the show that he's been hurt. Um,
My god, dude. Get a broom.
right? My comment in the notes was someone wrap him in some bubble wrap, please.
Honestly, every time he heals from something, he's immediately
Yeah.
injured again.
So, um, the grandfather's like, I'm gonna go get somebody to get help, right? Like like, okay, it's a cut. It's on his
Yeah.
finger. He's gonna be fine,
He's like, I need to
right?
go get someone to tend to the wound. And
Right.
he just
And
needs
then
like a band-aid, but
yeah, and then Cry Pop, which is the driver guy, like walks up and he sees like Nunu holding his finger out that's just like covered in blood, and he like hands him his like handkerchief. And it's like,
yeah.
"Here." And Nunu's like, "I'm gonna get blood on it." He's like, "It's fine. I don't care. Like you're bleeding. Go put something on this, right?" And he's doing that and they're kind of close like looking at it, but there's nothing there, right? It's
Mhm.
totally platonic. But of course, this is like the exact moment that Z comes home and he's like he walks up and he sees that like how close they're standing and what's going on and he like shoves the driver guy out of the way and is like no, like he's so possessive and he's like I'll take care of it now. Right? And so the driver's like, okay," and, like,
Ye
walks away.
He's like, "I'm just trying to, like, help your bleeding husband, like,
Yeah, like,
sorry."
right? Right? And so Z, like, takes the handkerchief that he just got and, like, takes it away from him and hands him, like, his own. Right? Like, so
Yeah.
okay, so now we've contaminated 2 of these with blood, like, didn't need to do that, but okay.
Thank
And
you.
but he, like, also, like, presses down too hard on it, and so, like, it hurts Nunu, and so Nunu gets, like, mad at him. He's like, "Okay, like, if you're gonna do this, don't be like a dramatic bitch," basically.
Mm.
Um, and so the grandfather finally comes back with, like, one of the other, like, staff members of the house, and they have, like, the first aid kit. And Nunu's like, "I'm gonna go inside and deal with this," and, like, stomps off and, like, brings the lady with her.
Yeah.
So mad. And so then the grandpa's like, "Z, dude, there's I don't know what you 2 are arguing about, but he's been good all day. Like what?" He's like, "He spent the whole day in the kitchen making your favorite dessert."
Mhm.
And Z was too stunned to speak.
Yeah.
Uh, and so then they're at dinner later, and Nunu is still sulking and mad that Z like was mad at him for like existing in the
Yeah.
same space as another man.
Literally.
Um, right? And like at this point, like they have their destiny like bound, but like they're not together.
Mhm.
So like, dude. And so, but he's sulking. So he like tells the staff, he's like, the bowl I was holding back, don't worry about holding it back. You can bring it all out. And they're like, you mean the one you made? And he's like, yes, yes, that one. He's like, he's clearly like, don't name it right now. Come on.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and so they have that, and Z's just kind of like there.
Mhm.
So that night, Nunu sleeps alone in his bed again, which can't be great. You know, you guys were warned not to do this.
Yeah.
Um,
Where your damn amulet at least?
right? And so, of course, since he's alone, he has another visit from creepy ghost lady in his dream. Um, and there's a point where I couldn't tell if it was actually a dream or if it was not, because she's
Mhm.
standing like in if it's a dream, he's still laying in bed as he is, and she's standing on his chest.
Yeah.
And so like outside of the dream, in reality, he's having a hard time breathing. So I can't tell if it's one of those it's flashing between the ghost being there and what everyone else would see, or if it's dream and it's impacting him in reality.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like she might actually be standing on his chest.
yeah.
'Cause he's like genuinely struggling to breathe.
Mhm. So I don't know, but he was definitely having a hard time breathing. And so they both still have on their red string from their destiny binding thing. And that starts like glowing for Z. And that wakes him up, and he, like, wakes up and is like, "Nunu, oh no," and, like, goes running to him and manages to wake him up.
Mhm.
And then Nunu hugs him, and he's like, "I'm scared." Um, and then they go back to sharing a bed.
Great.
Yeah, and then Nunu tells Z about the nightmares he's having, and Z's like, "You should go to the doctor for stress.
Oh my god.
Like, you're not sleeping enough." And
Maybe you
Nunu's like,
should talk to your sage or something.
"Right?" And Nunu's like, I'm not crazy." And Z's like, "I didn't say you were crazy. I said you were stressed."
I mean, I'd be stressed too if I was being haunted.
Right? And Nunu's like, "Okay, but really, I'm not crazy." So they have that, and, they're like, "Okay, whatever." And then Nunu goes to, like, bed, and they go to sleep, and then the next day, like, Nunu calls the monk guy, like, his grandfather, I guess, and he tells him about the nightmares, and his grandfather's like, "Okay, wear the amulet that I gave you. Also, do some prayers and some meditation like I taught you, and I'll come visit you sometime soon." And that's where we learn that Nunu has idiotically lost the amulet,
Oh my god. You fool.
right? Like my guy. I don't understand. If somebody gives you an amulet and you're having issues in the house, why are you not wearing the amulet?
I know. Come on.
Um so he and Z they search the house, they can't find the amulet. And then was this scene in your cut with the xylophone?
They not the whole scene. I remember them, like, talking about playing it, but they don't actually play it.
Oh, okay. This is a long scene for me.
Oh, really? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was short, like, a lot
Okay.
shorter.
So for me, the way this scene plays out, Z's like, "Hey, I'll cheer you up and I'll play on the xylophone a little bit, since we can't find the amulet." And so Nunu's like, "Okay," and Z's like, "Yeah." He gives like some backstory on why he learned it. I don't remember what it was. And he starts playing, and Nunu recognizes the song, so Nunu sings. I once again skipped all of this. Um, so they sing and they do their thing with that, and then like Z's like, "Do you want me to like teach you how to play the xylophone?" And Nunu's like, "Yes." And so Nunu's there and Z's behind him with his arms around him, you know, like typical move from a guy. and they're, like, really close, and then they almost kiss, and, like, Z's, like, you can watch his eyes go from, like, looking at Nunu's eyes to looking at his lips and back up, and that happens a couple times, and then Nunu gets really, like, anxious and, like, backs up and is like, "I'm gonna go read a book."
Yeah, they do have the part where they, like, almost kiss, but I don't remember him actually, like, singing and stuff.
Yeah, no, they have a whole, "We're gonna have another singing moment, and we're gonna, like, bond over this song that we both know for whatever reason." Like, there's, like, a whole backstory to it that doesn't matter to anything, and I don't remember.
Yeah.
Um, so they almost kiss, and then we have another random shot of the ghost, not doing anything,
Ooh.
just there.
The ghost is just always there, like,
Yeah, just
just
always
in case you
around.
forgot.
Yep. Um, so then Z and Nunu decide to go visit the monk dude. But they, like, don't bother to call him first. They just show up and he's like, I'm on my way out the door, guys." Um, and then we have a random canoe trip where we get the poetry hour. Um,
Slam poetry.
yeah, there was some random poetry because the poetry had also come up during the xylophone scene because, like, Nunu, like, Panic, like, walks and, like, goes to the nearest book and starts reading it, and
Mhm.
for whatever reason, Z's like, "Yeah, poetry," and recites some random poem. And then Nunu at that point was like, I'm gonna go eat some food, bye," and, like, walks away.
Yeah, uh, trying to give him,
And
like, depth or something, I don't know.
I don't know, but it was funny.
Yeah.
And, uh, and so we have our random canoe trip with the poetry moment that also serves no purpose.
Mhm.
Bonding, I guess. And
Yeah.
so now we have Z and Nunu are hanging out, like, in the bedroom, just doing whatever. They're both sitting on, like, the couch at, like, the foot of the bed, and then a thunderstorm is there, and it knocks the power out. And of course, Nunu is a little bitch, and immediately is, like, clinging to Z in fear. Um, and then
I
they
mean, he
go.
he is being haunted, to be fair.
I mean, fair,
Whether he realizes it or not,
but also, like, he'd be doing better off, like, if he had been wearing the amulet the entire time.
yeah, no kidding.
So, also, I forgot this because it's not in the notes. When they go to visit the monk and the monk doesn't have time for them, he does give them each like some sort of, like, blessing protection thing with a white string bracelet that they
Mhm.
both wear. So now they're both wearing a red one and a white one.
Uh-huh.
So they have that. So but the power's out and they go to get, like, a lantern to, like, have some light or, like, go check, and they open the door to the bedroom, and there's, like, a staff member there, like, with a lantern, and it's such a dumb jump scare.
Yeah.
Um
Not even the ghost.
No, it's not, it's literally just a staff member there. It's like, "Here's a lantern, everyone else is in bed." Like, "Oh,
Thank
okay."
you.
Yeah. So then they go sit on the bed, and they're talking and whatever, and then they finally kiss. Finally.
Yay.
Um, and Z's like, "Call me P instead of Kun." Um, and so that's what we do. We're now PZ or P whatever his character's name is that I can't pronounce.
Uh-huh.
Pling, pling, plong, pling. Ugh, I hate it
Yeah.
that I can't pronounce it. And then they have sex.
Yay. I love
Which,
I love the progression of that.
yep. And we went from just kind of hanging out on the couch to one kiss to stripping. Um,
Yep.
'Cause I will say they don't show the sex scene. It's not there's nothing a whole lot spicy. We see some buttons unbuttoned from, like, shirts, and that's it.
Yeah.
Um,
And then camera pan up.
yep. So then Z and Nunu meet with the sage guy, and the sage is like, "Yeah, there's a spirit after you, Z, or excuse me, Nunu. And you really need to be careful until your birthday next week." Um, and Z's like, "Huh?" And Nunu's like, "Oh, okay, yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah." Like, Z's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, to everything with all this stuff, and Nunu's like, "Uh-huh, yeah, totally." Um,
And, like, once again, like, Z was supposed to be the one that something bad would happen to, but
I mean, I guess we skipped over all of that because he found his destiny partner immediately.
yeah, but then what was Nunu supposed to do? Like,
Yeah.
what was his destiny, you know?
Yeah, because that was the thing. Because I thought he was being sent to this house for his protection as, like, part of it because it was like, "You've turned 21 now, you need this for your protection," which protection from what? I don't know.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think with that is it's whatever however they're doing these prophecy things, if it's they could tell that something was going to happen, like, something would happen to Z if he didn't find his things his destiny partner, so he found that, so he's fine. And then for Nunu, his destiny was to have to, like, deal with this, and the only way for him to be protected is to also be with his destiny partner, and they just didn't explain it that way. They're like, "Yeah, you have to go be here," even though, like, being here puts you in this danger spot, but you're with the one person that can protect you.
I
Because
guess.
the ghost isn't messing with Z, right? And anytime he's with Z, he's fine. Because he's not wearing the amulet this entire time, but he doesn't have nightmares when he's with Z. It's only when he's alone.
But
And
the ghost only lives at this house, you know?
yeah.
Like, Nunu wasn't being haunted at the, like, monastery or whatever.
Yeah. So that's I wonder if whatever prophecy they can see from this, they just don't get that kind of specifics from it. And they're just like, oh.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
also we need a plot for the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
It's okay if Nunu gets
yeah.
haunted as long as Z doesn't end up forever alone.
Yeah. um So Z gets really protective after this news from the sage, like super protective. And he's like, I need you in my line of sight at any given moment, period. Um, so now Nunu has to go to work with Z, which is really funny. Um, because so again, Z's work is like in this like in this restaurant, basically. Like it's a round table, like in a private room, but they're always like eating or whatever. And so Nunu is there, but he's not at that table. He's in like another room, like with the glass in between them or something. So he's just sitting by himself, like reading and eating a snack, but like
Mm.
in directly in like Z's line of sight. Why Z's trying to do these business deals.
Yeah, that
And
completely was skipped for me.
yeah, it was really funny. And the other thing, Z was like, "You're not allowed to touch anything sharp." And Nunu was like, "Okay, but in the kitchen." And And Z's like, "In the kitchen, get somebody else to deal with it." Like, no.
Mhm.
You're not gonna touch anything sharp." I was like, "Oh, okay. Finally somebody is taking
Yeah,
this." So
I agree.
and then we have this really cute kitchen scene. With the kitchen with the mortar and pestle, did you get that scene?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm like, did they cut all the cute scenes out? Um,
No, just most of them though.
so part of all of this with Z not letting Nunu out of his sight at this point, we have, of course, the work thing, but the other thing is Nunu's making something in the kitchen, and he's got, like, a mortar and pestle where he's, like, grinding something up, and Z at one point is like, "Are you done yet?" And Nunu's like, "No, I don't even know what I'm doing." Um,
Mhm.
and then Z's like, "Let me help you." So, like, then they're, like, both using the mortar and pestle and holding hands. It was kinda cute.
Yeah.
And then Putsun, which is the angry staff member, is, like, lurking in the background and with jealousy in his eyes. Um,
Uh-huh.
and he, like, stalks off and goes to sulk somewhere. Um And then Cry Pop, which is the driver guy again, like runs into him and like tries to like talk to him about it and be like, like what is your problem basically, but like in a considerate way, like, I'm here if you need to talk, whatever, and puts him like, no, go away.
Mhm.
And then he like goes off to talk. And I thought those two were gonna get together at some point.
Don't they? Kind of.
Dude, I guess they do, but it's not very clear, but
That's
I guess
true.
it's kind of implied. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll get to it in a minute, but they have a little,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, flirty fight moment.
Yeah. And then we have another moment where Z is possessive and doesn't want to share food with anybody that like Nunu has made.
Oh.
So, and then they do the merit thing with the monks. That it's again like a cultural thing that I don't entirely understand, but it's like the monks will like walk by everybody's houses, and so you have like a table with like some offerings like set up like at the end of your like driveway.
Mhm.
So they do that with the monks, and there's really nothing to it other than they just do that. And then you see the creepy ghost in the window again, and she says she wants the merit.
Okay.
Like, cool.
Why
Like,
why would you what are you gonna do with it?
yeah, I don't understand. I think that's a I don't understand the like Buddhism part of it. if I what the merit does, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is the first time we hear her talk.
Yeah,
So
probably.
leveled up again.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. She's getting stronger.
and then we have like the cheesiest line, like flirting line from Z after this, where like Z and Nunu are hanging out, and uh Z has his hands around like Nunu's waist, and he goes, "My hands are busy. Can you help feed me?" Um, so he does.
Mm,
So I don't know
that's
what they
cute.
were eating, but it looked like watermelon chopped up, but they were like dipping it in, I don't know, maybe like roasted like coconut or something. It looked really good.
Hmm,
So, but I
yeah.
don't know what it was. It's just what it looked like. And then we have like the most random like Putsun and like Cry Pop water fight.
Yeah, this is where I think they're, like, hinting that these 2 are gonna end up together, but it's
Yeah.
a weird, like, montage where they're just, like, spraying each other with a hose.
Yeah, cuz Putsun like came to bring back like the handkerchief or something that he had loaned him because he was crying earlier when he was sulking.
Yeah.
And like Cry Pop had like a he was watering plants at the time. He was also randomly shirtless, right? This
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
And like right before Putsun had like walked up, the hose stopped running water for some reason, and he was like trying to figure that out, and then like I guess he forgot about it while they were talking, and it came on and it like got Putsun all wet, and so he like grabbed it and like hosed down Cry Pop. So
Yeah. I mean, he needs to move on, so,
yeah,
why not, I guess.
yeah. And then this is where things really start to pick up finally at this
Yeah.
point. Like
Yeah, it's like the
like
last, like, 30 minutes.
yeah, this is where like everything finally comes together and you have your like climax of things because Nunu's, like, at the window of their bedroom, and, like, he sees that everybody's, like, flipping out outside, and he's like, "Huh, that's weird." Um, and then it's like, "Oh, there's a fire," and so he turns to Nunu and to Z, and he's like, "Hey, there's a fire?" Um, and then I think I quoted this as a literally line of, "Let's ignore everything Mr. Lee just told us," is what Nunu says, and he's like, "It's fine, let's go out there and help them."
No. Oh my god. No sense of urgency either.
No, but,
They just, like, kinda walk down and they're like, "Oh, like, if you wanna help, maybe you can, like, go in and call the fire department." Like, bitch, like, if there's a fire going on, like, just do it.
yeah. But as Nunu would be the first to die in an American horror movie.
Oh, yeah,
Like, his
definitely.
character in this would be the first to die if he's, like, literally saying, "Let's ignore everything that we were told."
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, you're at risk for literally anything happening to you. Like, I think part of it was, like, you have to be even, scared of, like, yourself, like, it was, like, what was said. Um,
Mm.
so, yeah, so they walk casually downstairs to, like, the fire, which I think the house is set up in a way that kinda like at least old Southern houses were as well, where the kitchen's detached from the house.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
so I don't know if that's a thing by you guys too, but, like, by us, like, a lot of the older homes,
Mhm.
are completely separate from the house.
Yeah, that's how our house is actually
Oh,
well,
really?
we have, like, a I think this is why, because our house was built in, like, the 20s,
Mhm.
so we have, like, a creepy shed, but the creepy shed does have, like, a sink and stuff,
Mhm.
and I've been told it's because, like, in case, there's a fire in the kitchen, then it only burns down the shed and not your whole house,
Yeah.
and so I think that's how our house was originally because our kitchen is tiny as hell, so yeah.
Yeah, that was
But yeah, I think that is how, like, ours is.
okay, that makes sense. 'Cause that's definitely how, like, really old houses are around here in the South too, so I wasn't sure if that was an everywhere thing or what.
Yeah, like, it's not even like, when I say a shed, it's, like, kinda like a garage, but it's not a garage because you can't put your car in it, but I think it was, like, meant to be a kitchen, but now it's just creepy.
Mhm. So so I think that's how this is set up too, because it's just the kitchen I think that is on fire and everyone's like in and out because they're like
Mhm.
they weren't concerned about like leaving the house because the house is on fire. Um
Yeah.
so but yeah, so they're on the stairs like and they're looking at everyone like scrambling around and that's where like Z's like, "Yeah, you go inside and I guess call the fire department. I'm gonna go see if I can do anything for this, whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, now we're splitting up. Like, you've
Yeah.
been so possessive this entire time, and now you're like, yeah, you can wander off." Um, okay. Um,
Yeah. I guess he's probably thinking like, "Oh, well, he just needs to pick up the phone, how I'm going into the fire, how dangerous can it be to go call a person?"
yeah, but clearly,
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know why Z was suddenly fine with Nunu being out of his line of sight because I call bullshit on that.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not his birthday
yeah,
yet.
yeah. So when they go to split up, Nunu like walks off, and you see his white bracelet thing, the white string falls off. So the blessing whatever thing. And like Z sees that it's fallen off of Nunu, and he picks it
Mhm.
up, but then he goes and walks the opposite direction.
Yeah. Like, I feel like you should know at this point that, like, something's gonna go down.
Right? Like, okay, all signs to lead to an issue. Got it.
Yeah.
Um, so then this was really funny to me. Nunu goes to call the fire department and he picks up the phone and like on the other line is the stupid ghost.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're gonna die today." And it's like, "Oh, okay." And so Nunu just like hangs up the phone. And there's nothing scary about the show or this
No.
movie.
No.
And then somehow the ghost possesses Nunu.
Through the phone, I guess.
So I don't I think the ghost like appears and like flies into Nunu.
Yeah.
Um and so now we have a possessed Nunu who's walking through the house and he runs into Putsun and the other one. I don't the driver guy. I can't think of his
Yeah.
name. Um Krypal. He
Mhm.
runs into them and they're all like, "You don't look so great." Um and they're talking and whatever and they're like clearly concerned with the fire that's going on, whatever.
Yeah.
And 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 like Nunu just pulls out a knife and like threatens Putsun with it and then walks away. But also, where did he get
Yeah.
the knife from? Because he can't go into the kitchen that's currently on fire. And it's like a giant like knife.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's not even like a letter opener.
No, it is a giant knife. It
It
is like
is it's like a steak knife.
it's bigger than a steak knife. It's what I use to like cut like if I were to have like a ham at like Christmas or something, that's the type of knife I would use to cut it.
Every knife is a steak knife at my house because I don't know what
Oh,
knives are supposed to do.
oh
Except a
gosh.
bread knife. I have a designated bread knife, but the rest of them I just kinda use interchangeably.
Oh, I have like two separate like knife blocks. I have like one with like all the different ones of like your peeling knife and your paring knife and
Oh my
your
god.
what yeah, I
That's so
have like
fancy.
yeah. I just got a new set from my mom. We
Mhm.
as like a birthday present, I think is what it was this year.
Oh,
So I have that and then I have my other and that actually I think that one came I might only have one block now because I think that one came with a whole set of steak knives too.
damn.
But
I literally
yeah,
have, like, 3 knives that work, so I just use them for everything.
oh gosh. No, I have like a full set of like 6 steak knives and then I have all the fancy knives, the bread knife and all that cuz the bread knife is like serrated in a certain way so
Mhm.
it cuts nicely and stuff.
Yeah.
Um
That's the one where I know what it's for.
yeah. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what the other one's for, but it's like a big one. Like my mom uses that one to like cut cakes with and stuff like that. And I think
Mm,
that's the one we use at Christmas for like the honey ham and stuff like that.
okay.
So like it is a giant knife, but it's not like a butcher's knife giant knife, but it's big.
Yeah.
Um
Ca yeah, big cake knife or something.
Yeah, it's one you would only find in a kitchen. Like, there's no reason for that one to be anywhere else. So this is me
No.
being nitpicky, but still, I'm just like,
Ye
where did that come from? Uh,
Yeah, the ghost gave it to him or brought it
yeah,
to him or something from the kitchen
from
that
the
she set
kitchen.
fire to, maybe.
Yeah. So so he's walking off with the knife, whatever, and the fire is now out. So Putsin and Krypop are like talking to Z, and they're like, so we found Nunu, and he's kind of weird. And Nunu or Z like looks down at this like string, and he's like, uh-oh, and he like goes to wander off and find him. Um,
Yeah.
and somehow it is now nighttime, which it was not nighttime when they were talking.
No,
Um,
I guess
eh,
it took them all day to look for him or something.
yeah, and Nunu is now in the woods somewhere, and it's like he's only half possessed, I guess, where he doesn't have control of his body, but you can tell he's aware, like,
Mhm.
and he's like panicking and freaking out, and the ghost is like taunting him a little bit, and then the ghost like makes him stab himself. So now we have a stab wound.
I will say I
Um,
was genuinely shocked when he stabbed himself.
really? I figured it would happen.
Really? I don't know. I was just like, well, normally when get stabbed in the torso, specifically like the stomach area with a giant knife, you don't like live through that.
But did you see
But
how shallow the cut was? Like it was like maybe an inch of the knife.
I
Like
guess.
it was not a full stabbing.
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, I think there's some magic that happened here with the survival.
Yeah,
Um,
because he's fine after,
yeah.
um but yeah, I guess I didn't expect him to stab himself, but he does.
Yeah, I kind of thought he would, but I also was like, I wouldn't have been surprised if like Z came out of nowhere and was like, "Hey, I'm here."
Yeah, that's
But
kind of what I was thinking what would happen.
yeah, so but no, we get a stabbing, and then for some reason he then walks into the well, I guess I know why, but he walks into the lake and starts to drown himself. He just
Mhm.
kind of like flops down face first into the water, and and then we get this weird like out of body like experience where he's like watching these scenes play out of like the ghost when she was still alive on like what happened.
Yeah.
And it took a little bit for me to understand what was happening there.
I
Um,
love how it's, like, not his life flashing before his eyes, it's the
it's the
ghost's life.
ghost. Yeah, that's garbage. I don't want to live that. I want to live
Y
my own at this point.
yeah, right.
Um,
Because her story makes no freaking sense, but whatever.
I thought it made sense.
It makes sense, but this is when the whole family connection part I get really confused by.
So, so the first scene we have is the ghost lady and her husband are arguing. Apparently, the husband doesn't like the ghost lady. Um, and like she had whatever done and forced this marriage. Um, and they have a kid together, but like
Yeah.
that's it.
And this is, like, their house, like, this
Yeah.
castle that they're in. This is, like, their castle.
Yeah. And so that's the first scene we get. And so then the second scene we get is that this ghost lady is bullying this one staff member of her husband's staff. And he's very clearly attached to the staff member. So he's like extra pissed off at her for it.
Mhm.
And she just kind of stomps off after he's like back the fuck off basically. And and then we see that that the husband and the staff member whose name is Chan are like talking, and it looks almost like a hospital infirmary of some sort, but I don't know if that's what it was. Um and they're talking, and the husband's like, I only love you basically, and you're the only one that matters to me. And I guess the ghost lady was eavesdropping because she comes flying in, flinging the door open, and she's like, how dare you say something like that. um and so she's super angry now. And
Mhm.
then the last scene we get is the ghost lady has gotten Chan, the staff member here, out into the woods, which is the woods where uh Nunu just stabbed himself.
Mhm.
Um and she gets the him out there, and she's like, my husband won't even sleep with me because he's so in love with you, Chan. Um
Yeah, lady, your husband's gay. That's
Oh.
why. Like,
yeah.
come on, get with it.
I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Um and she's like, "If I take you out of the picture, then he has no choice but to love me," but that's also not how sexuality works.
Yeah, it's not how that's gonna work, but okay.
No.
Just
Like,
kill all of
yeah.
your husband's lovers, I guess.
Yeah, and so, she comes at him with a knife, and, they struggle, and somehow the struggle turns into him stabbing her. I don't know how that happened, but,
Yeah, the struggle for a while is them kinda just, like, staring at each other, and
yeah.
so I'm like, it didn't really look like a struggle, but
No.
ye
It was a very lackluster struggle, but then she
Yeah.
gets stabbed, and then they still struggle a little bit, and they start walking towards the water,
Mhm.
and then she walks in the water and, like, immediately dies.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why we have that. So which is why the Nunu now has been stabbed and thrown into the water or walked into the water, I
Mhm.
guess.
Yeah, he's
Um,
gotta it's revenge, he's gotta die the same way.
yeah, but, like, why him? Um,
Yeah.
and then, so then we have Z finds Nunu in the water somehow. Like,
Oh my god. I have beef with this.
yeah, this is so first off, he's been in the water so long, he's dead.
Yeah, he's in the middle of the lake at this point.
Yeah, he's dead, he's deep down. It takes Z a while to find Nunu. Like, that water
Mhm.
is still, so he's been under that for a while for it to be that still. And then on top of that, he has no idea where he is. He, like, just randomly like, the fact that he even knows to look in the water.
I know this like the like you said, the water's completely still. Like there's no sign of where
No.
he
And it's dark.
entered. It's dark. Water is dark. But
Yeah.
somehow this always pisses me off in shows when like someone jumps into the water and it's like a dark lake or something and they're like looking around in the water and I'm like I know that shit's black. Like
Yeah, the only they could have fixed this real easy. And because you know how earlier in this movie, when the ghost is standing on, like, Nunu's chest and, like, the bracelet glows red?
yeah.
Like, all they had to do is make his bracelet glow red again, where he can see like that,
Yeah.
and it would have been solved, but they don't do that.
No, they just have him like look around in the water and then sees him like somehow.
Yeah. Um, so somehow and then he pulls him out, and he starts doing CPR, and then we didn't even mention this, but somewhere in all of this, I think before their first kiss, like, right before their first kiss, was, Z's parents and grandfather leave and go on, like, a business trip. They're gone. They've been gone this entire time, and this is the moment they show up,
Oh my god.
and they show up
Like
in the woods,
like they know exactly where they are.
right? With the monk. The monk is there too.
Everyone just pops up.
Yeah. And that's where we kinda get the family connections now. So and this is where things I don't know if it's a translation issue from inaccurate translations or what, because not all of this makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
let's dissect this family
right.
tree.
So what happens is Z is like, I want to go take Nunu to the hospital, but he can't move for some reason. And it turns out he can't move because the ghost is holding him down. Which is like the only time he interacts with this ghost, period.
Yeah.
Um, and then the monk is like, I'll handle this. And he's like talking directly to the ghost, so he can clearly see the ghost.
Yeah.
Um, which also he said like a while ago that he was gonna come visit Nunu, and then he never did until now, you know? Like that
I guess he was
happened
just
and
like,
then
I'll visit you when you die."
yeah, like okay. And, like, I know they went to visit him in between all that, but it was for, like, 5 minutes because he was busy. So, I have a little beef with this dude. Um,
Yeah.
so, uh, the monk is telling his ghost, he's like, "Your issues don't have anything to do with Nunu. You need to leave him alone," right? And it's like, "Oh, okay." And so now we get the whole backstory of this ghost is, Z's grandmother. Dun, dun, dun. Through his dad. It's his dad's mom. Um, and this is where I'm confused because when I was watching it, it said that that was the grandfather's sister. So that would mean the grandfather is like
Yeah.
an uncle and not a grandfather. And I don't know if that's just like general terminology because they just use that as like the head of the household or something like that. Um, because
Yeah.
to me it would have made more sense if that was husband and wife.
Right. 'Cause like my grandfather's brother, I call uncle.
Yeah, well, that's he would be
But
either,
that's
like, a great uncle or an uncle once removed, I never remember which way it goes, but he would
yeah.
be an uncle. Um,
Yeah, I don't this is where I get lost too.
so I don't know how we can have a grandfather and a grandmother, but they're not they're siblings, right? That doesn't make sense to me, and it also I don't think makes sense in the story so much. Like, the story would make more sense if they were husband and wife, and that was the wife that
Yeah.
died, and it's the husband, and the one kid they had is now Z's dad, right? Um, because then the entire time we've been talking, or the entire time movie's been going, the two grandparents, the monk and Z's grandfather, like it's been established they're really close, right?
Mhm.
And so it's almost like it's I don't think it's outright said, but it's implied that like the monk was the servant, I guess.
Yeah,
So
that's what cause I it's like that's the only thing that makes sense if it's
yeah.
is if it's the grandpa and the monk who were in love, but
Yes.
but then I feel kinda sad because then I'm like, "Oh, well, they're not, like, together anymore." But I
Mhm.
feel like it's not them, like,
But I don't know how else it makes sense because the
I
monk
don't
is the one who's
either.
like I think the monk's like says I forgive you as well as like, you know, like the grandfather and the dad or whatever. Because the ghost apologizes for some reason. Um
Like, I don't know, you just, like, basic almost killed a man and no like, why are you apologizing? This was your whole scheme. And
yeah. And so don't know what
then
all that's
the
about.
freaking was it the monk or was it the grandfather who was like, "Oh, I love her and I know her so well, I just can't, like I can't be mad at her for this." And I'm like, "Bro, she just stabbed and drowned a little boy."
Yeah. I don't remember which one it was, but yeah, it was ridiculous. So I
Mhm.
think there might be translation issues because I think there was the grandfather and the monk that were together. But I also think as a part of the times that that just wasn't an option. And that was part of
Yeah.
I think also the trauma of being the it could be the the trauma and also just the issue of you just killed the lady of the house. Like
Yeah.
even though she was, it was a self-defense thing, so we're gonna send you off, and that's where it's like he's gonna go be a monk. Like that would make sense to me.
Oh.
Not that this is said
Yeah.
at all in the movie, but just I'm trying
We're
to
just
make it
trying to
make
figure
sense.
out who are the old gay men. Which ones are they? And how are these people related? Because the reason why she's
Yeah.
trying to kill Nunu is because they say he's the nephew of Chan. They
Yeah.
call him a nephew. I don't know if
Which is
he's the descendant at least, but they do say nephew, so I'm like, I don't know if that's exactly
which
makes
is
sense.
confusing
'Cause did
because
Chan have children? What?
yeah, so I didn't think I mean, I wouldn't have thought because it's never talked about. So, I mean, but there's like this nephew aspect. So if it is nephew, it doesn't make sense that it would be the monk because the monk specifically says that's my grandson.
Yeah.
But also, I don't
My
know.
head
I've never
hurts.
yeah. So, but if it's the monk and the grandfather were the two to begin with, so it's Chan
Mhm.
and the ghost's husband. Like that would make sense to me because then it would be Z and Nunu as the grandkids from this original thing.
Yeah.
Um, so, but I don't know.
Of
I have
course,
no idea.
like, no one in the cast is named Chan.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we already have that too. Yeah, my drama list doesn't even have him listed. Even
Aw.
who is Deny?
I have no freaking clue.
I don't either. There's a character listed on my drama list, and I have no idea who it is.
I don't either.
Then I wonder if it was a translation thing, and maybe his name was Deny.
Oh,
That's the only thing I can think of.
I guess. I don't know. If you've seen this movie and you understand this family tree and you understand who's all gay together, please explain it to us because I'm so
Yeah,
lost.
yeah. Because I have no idea. But they're like, please let Nunu live. The
Like,
ghost's like, okay.
because I don't understand. So if Chan is alive, why is she taking revenge on his like grandson? Why doesn't she just take revenge on him?
Because he's not at the house until like this moment.
But now's her time, or like, is that why he's never visited?
It could be.
You know what? We cracked. I'm just gonna say that's headcanon that we've cracked it.
Yeah,
That's why he never visited.
that would be
But
the
then
only thing that makes sense.
that would imply that he knew about this and he knew about this ghost and he knew the ghost was gonna come for Janu and he let his grandson just like do that. That's just bad parenting.
Dumbledore and Harry Potter all over again.
Yeah, right? Oh my god. He's in his Dumbledore era.
Ugh. But yeah, I have no idea. I
Yeah.
just that's the best I can make out of this is the grandparents were the ones from this original love triangle nonsense. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense in the sense that these usually when you have like a movie and you have characters, the characters are like reoccurring. You usually just don't add new characters for no reason when you have established characters that already don't do anything.
yeah, in the last like 20 seconds. Um,
Literally, yeah.
yeah, cause so the monk's name was Luang Lung Junta Corn. So not
Okay.
Chan, not Chan, unless the Junta Corn like was like Chan was like from the Junta or the Jun. So
Yeah.
okay, so I do see this. So the grandfather's name is Parit, and so yeah, so young Parit is another character on here. So they're
Oh.
not siblings. That has to have been a translation issue because that means that the husband is the grandfather. So there's that at least. So Kanaka is the wife. That was the ghost.
Yeah.
Mm. And then the Parit would have been the husband because young Parit is also on here, and that was the husband.
Yeah.
So okay.
Where is young the other one? Is it Deny? I don't know.
Well, and I do think it was another translation thing.
Yeah, it
'Cause
must be.
I see a Gentacorn young as a guest role on here,
Mhm.
right, with the young Parit, and that's where
Oh, that's
the
Chan.
yeah, that I think that's Jan or
Oh,
Chan.
you're
So
100% correct, yeah.
so then the monk is also the Gentacorn. Yeah, okay, so that is what it is. That is
Okay.
okay.
Yes. We
Oh,
or at least was it the are they the same person or are they just related? Like they have the same name? It
no, I
makes
think they're gonna
sense.
be the same person, just
Okay. So the monk and the grandfather were together. I'm sad they're not together anymore.
yeah, but okay.
Okay. That we were really doing some sleuthing here on my drama
Yeah.
list.
I mean, we talked about this before we even started recording, and I couldn't make sense of it then either. It's one of those of
Yeah.
having to like sit here and stare at this cast list to go, okay, what?
Yeah, right.
Um, so, but yeah, so I think we've got it all figured out now.
Great.
The only
Yeah.
thing is, I'm not entirely certain that Nunu is the grandson of the monk, but I guess he is.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess he must be.
yeah. So there's that. So and then they asked the ghost, the whatever her name is now, Kanika, to let Nunu live, and she's like, "Okay," because he's been while they're having this whole discussion of like, "I forgive you, and you shouldn't do this," and like, "Whatever, this is the past. This has nothing." Like Nunu's just laying on the ground,
Oh my god. Yeah, get this boy to a hospital.
right? Because
He's
he has a
bleeding
stab
out.
wound. He has a stab wound. He just drowned, and also that also means that that nasty lake water is in the wound.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
there's a lot going on here, right? And but the ghost is like, "Yeah, okay," and then she just leaves, and
Like, what? That's not how ghosts work.
and so then the next thing is, it's Nunu's laying in bed and Z's hovering. Um,
Mhm.
and Nunu finally wakes up. I don't know how long this later this was. I don't remember if they said or not, if it's been days. But Z's like, "Hey everybody," like shouts across the house. It's like Nunu's awake, whatever, and they're all like there. So then he's awake and he's fully recovered, I guess. Or he's going to fully recover.
Yeah.
Um, and then we have a random prayer ceremony. And I'm guessing this is to help the ghost move on, but I don't actually know.
Hopefully, get her out of here.
Yeah, because I mean, she does leave after that. Like, it's like her exit is a little different and she looks like happier and not crazy, like haunting ghost lady.
Like, why? I don't know. Cause she didn't get her revenge, and she also like didn't get her man. So
I guess she got forgiveness for being an awful human.
And but that's not even what she wanted in the first place.
No, that's not how ghosts work.
No, but okay, glad she's gone, I guess.
Yeah, so she's moved on. Um, and then we cut to scene of Z and Nunu taking a walk, and Z proposes with a really ugly ring.
Just gonna say that ring was so ugly.
It was like these 3
Oh.
stones on it that were, like, all different colors, but
Yeah,
they
they're
were,
like
like, the
red and blue or something.
yeah, which was fine, but, like, the holder, like, the I don't know, like, the setting for the things was super weird looking. It was like some sort of steampunk looking thing, honestly.
Yeah, it was just really, like, gaudy, and
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh my god, if a
like,
man
I'm happy.
proposed to me with this ring." He's like, "It's a family heirloom." I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't care, go to Kressler's? I'm trying to think of a name that sells rings. That's
uh,
a car place.
K Jewelers, is that a national one or is
Yeah,
that local? Okay,
K
or
go to K Jewelers
yeah,
or
or
something, I don't
his
know.
family runs a jewelry store, I
Yeah.
think,
Oh my god, yeah, he could've gotten a better one, 100%.
right? Ugh, come on, Z.
Yeah, do better. He's worth it. He
Yeah,
literally
also
almost freaking, like, died because of your stupid family problems.
yeah, but they basically all live happily ever after, I guess.
Yay.
Yay. So, that was the movie.
Yep, After Sundown. What a
Um,
movie.
yeah. I this had at the time, had a 7.5 on my drama list, and normally 7.5 is pretty good,
Yeah.
right? Like, anything 8 and up is, like, incredible, but, like, the 7s is usually something that's gonna be solid. It's anything that's lower
Mhm.
than, like, a 7 where I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be terrible."
Yeah.
But, like, 7.5 and this is what we got? Did we all watch the same movie, guys?
I think I mean, people love ZeeNuNew,
I
for,
love ZeeNuNew.
for obvious reasons. I think sometimes because of that, people, like, you know, just if you like a couple, you're just gonna like whatever they're in, but just from a critical standpoint, I wouldn't say this movie was good, but if
No.
you're rating for entertainment, I guess I could see, like, you know, rating
Yeah,
something like that.
I guess. I did not give it higher than a 7.5. Um,
No. I will say if you are gonna watch this movie, I would watch the uncut version.
yeah, it sounds like you missed a lot. It was about 30 minutes
Yeah.
extra.
Yeah, I think I missed, like, all the cute relationship stuff, which I would have
Ended up
much
being like a
preferred.
yeah, so, yeah, definitely not something I would recommend, but I also wouldn't completely discourage.
Yeah, I think if you
So,
want something just, like if you're a fan of ZeeNuNew and you just kinda want something, like, silly, but,
yeah.
like, it's not supposed to be silly, it's, like, enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm a little sorry this is your introduction to ZeeNuNew.
It's okay.
Um,
I am curious about the one commenter on this movie though, who's like, "Oh, their acting in this movie is better than Cutie Pie." And
me too.
I don't think their acting's like bad. It's hard to tell if someone's like bad at acting in a movie like this where just like the writing is so bad. I just like know they probably didn't have much to work with, so I don't want to like, judge their acting skills on this, but
Yeah.
I feel like it can't how can it be better than Cutie Pie?
Yeah, cause that's so I watched Love in the Air, and then I watched Cutie Pie, like, right after that. And, like, Love in the Air, like, the peak, right? And then Cutie Pie, I also really liked, and it's been a
Mhm.
while, but I'm like, I don't remember the acting being bad,
Yeah,
like,
I'll
at
have
all.
to
Like, I
I'll
remember
definitely have
some
to
of the
watch that one, so
yeah, I wanna rewatch it. I've been thinking about rewatching it.
mhm.
But, like, I remember some of the plot being a little, like, okay, but, like, it wasn't, like, an acting thing.
Yeah.
Um 'Cause there's part of that plot that was like, "This is dumb." Like
Yeah, I know that was Nunu's first show.
oh, was it?
Yeah, and I only know that because I watched because Perth is in that show,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and I always watch his videos where he, like, talks about the shows he's in even if I haven't watched the show, and he, like, he had really, really nice things to say about, like, making cutie pie, and, there's, like, one part where he talks
Yeah.
about how, like, yeah, Z is so, like, nice and such, like, big he took care of all of them and whatever, and he's like he, like, especially took care of Nunu because it was, like, his first show he ever did, so
Yeah,
I was
cause
like, "Aw."
I knew Z had a pairing before Nunu. I just didn't realize that Nunu hadn't done anything, but Nunu was like a guest role in War of Y as
Yeah.
himself. Is that what I'm seeing? Yeah.
Hmm, okay.
But then yeah, Cutie Pie was his first one. So he hasn't done a whole lot because he did Cutie Pie and then Naughty Babe, of course. And
Yeah, I
he's
mean, he's pretty young, so
yeah, he's 23. But yeah,
yeah.
so but yeah. No, I like Nunu as a lot. And Nunu is one of the stronger singers in Thai.
Oh, yeah. And
So
I'm especially excited for these 2 that are gonna be in the next Prince together.
yeah,
If
I'm
that
excited for that too.
yeah, whenever that's supposed to come out, it's, like, royalty shit, so I'll eat it up for sure.
Yeah, either I want to say it's in queue or they might be doing the pre-production like workshops for it, one of the two, I think.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I like Cutie Pie a lot and then that's going to be another one. Just uh, Nunu plays a musician in that one. So,
Mm, yeah. I'm
but
used to
again,
it by now.
yeah, but again, he's good, so it's fine. There are worse singing scenes out there by far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Um,
I've experienced some of them.
yeah. But yeah, good times.
Yeah. Love doing a movie review.
Yep.
Spice it up a little.
So, I mean, if you guys have any other movies to recommend, maybe something a little better than this one, I think we're all ears.
Mhm.
Feel free
Definitely.
to drop us a comment or a DM or something to let us know. Um, or come into the Discord and recommend it. We have a whole channel for recommendations.
Yeah.
Uh, You guys can find us on our socials as usual on Instagram at BL, or excuse me, on Instagram and TikTok at bl.in.the.air, on Twitter at BL in the air. You can also find us on Discord, where we are pretty chatty in there talking about news as it's breaking, honestly,
Mhm.
and sharing a lot of the Q photos, especially from Heart Killers. Um, and we also talk about a lot of other shows on there too, like the Taiwanese and some of the Chinese stuff, and of course the Japanese stuff has been a big topic for me lately. And then we're also streaming wherever you're listening, especially on Spotify and Apple Music. And speaking of Spotify, we have launched a listener support thing on Spotify. It should be in the description of the episodes. If you choose to, there's no pressure either way. We'll put out our episodes as usual, but you can always help us keep going and maybe improve some of our equipment and maybe get some other stuff going. We, if you want to.
Mhm.
But even if you guys don't, we'll be here every Friday.
Yep.
when the, had to think when the episodes come out.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.